Pandemia, How Coronavirus Hysteria Took Over Our Government, Rights, and Lives by Alex Berenson is a critical look at the actions taken by governments to contain the COVID-19 pandemic. The book examines the scientific evidence and medical data that underpin the strategies and questions whether the measures taken have been effective in controlling the virus. The author argues that the response to the pandemic was driven by fears and hysteria rather than evidence-based decision-making. He examines the impact of government-mandated lockdowns and other measures such as contact tracing and mask wearing on civil liberties, economic growth, and public health. The author also looks at the economic impact of the pandemic, noting that the economic effects of the lockdowns were not taken into account when decisions were made. He argues that the lockdowns have had a far-reaching and long-term impact on the economy and that the economic consequences of the pandemic will be felt long after the virus has been contained. Berenson further examines the public health implications of the pandemic, noting that the lockdowns have had a significant impact on public health, with increases in mental health issues, drug overdoses, and suicide rates. He argues that the pandemic has caused more harm than good and that the response needs to be reassessed. The author argues that governments should focus on protecting the most vulnerable and on improving public health through investment in public health infrastructure and improved access to healthcare. He argues that governments should focus on measures such as contact tracing and testing rather than lockdowns, which are shown to be ineffective in controlling the virus. Berenson argues that the public should be informed and involved in the decision-making process in order to ensure that the measures taken are effective and accountable. He also argues that governments should focus on ensuring that the public has access to accurate and up-to-date information on the pandemic. Overall, Pandemia, How Coronavirus Hysteria Took Over Our Government, Rights, and Lives is an important and timely book that offers an important critique of the response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The book raises questions about the efficacy of the measures taken and offers a call to reassess the response to the pandemic. That's it. Thank you so much for tuning in.